Thanks for coming in. We'll do an introduction. This training is about behavior support plan for Shivam and how it is written and how it will be implemented. You guys have been supporting Shivam for a pretty long time, most of you, and every year, about every 6 months, we review the behavior support plan. We look at what strategies needs to be changed, and also have, in case of Shivam, we have a special implication of restrictive practices. So today the training will be in three parts. One is what is autism. We'll start with that discussion. Feel free to ask questions, stop me at any time. The second part is going to be about the behavior support plan, what's in it, and I have given you all a copy, so you can refer the behavior support plan each time you need to, but my recommendation will be that you read it once at least. Third part will be specifically on restrictive practices because they are applied on Shivam, and what are those, what is allowed, what is not allowed. There will be a lot of questions and we will discuss that. So starting with that is I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself. I'll start with Nathan.
My name is Nathan Christopher and I have Shivam with the community access.
Nathan?
My name is Nathan. I'm doing personal care and community access with Shivam 5 days a week.
Thank you. Yourself?
Sukhvinder Singh. I'm with the Shivam as a sport worker for improving his daily life living goals.
My name is Ani. I am working with the 6 year. I am working in 6 year with Shima. It's a long time. So I provide service for daily life and plus community access.
Okay, that's great. So thank you for coming in, and we'll quickly start on this. Okay, the first question is, the behavior support plan talks about on the first page, what is Shivam's disability? So everybody who works with the client needs to understand what is the disability. So he has dual disability, not one. The first one is autism, as we all know, and the second is intellectual disability. So the presentations of autism and intellectual disability are fairly different. However, when intellectual disability normally does not come without autism. It comes as a part and parcel of autism. However, autism can be independent. There will be lots and lots of people out there who are autistic, but they're not intellectually classified as disabled. So by bringing those two items together or disabilities together, we call it dual disability, and that makes things very complex. So let's talk about what is autism. So I give you a chance. You have seen Shivam for a while. What do you think autism is?
Things say differently.
Correct. Any other clue?
They live in their own virtual world.
Own world. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a different thing of normal life.
Different thing from normal life. What do you think,
I
Nathan?
think it's hard for him to express his emotions.
Hard for them to express emotion. So that's fine. Exactly. You are reaching out. However, you need to know what is the real definition of autism. I normally have written it in a very simple way. And so what is autism? So it is a neurotype. You guys are typical, and autism is neurodiverse. Okay. So they are not like you.
Yeah.
The first thing to remember. Okay, their brain is formed differently. So their world, they see the world differently than you guys. Okay. So whatever you do in your normal life may not apply with them. Okay, that's one of the key definitions. So we call it you're neurotypical, I'm neurotypical, he's neurodiverse. The causes of autism is not known and will never be known. Now, because the research in the last 50 years has said that autism is a formation of the brain. Okay, it's not a disease. Okay, it is different. So what happens is the way the person interprets the world around them is different in autism. So they have issues with, or you can say they respond to the social clues differently. I give a very good example. When I say the thing as a spring is in the corner, what do you say about that? Springs around the corner. If I say that, what do you interpret?
That means the by the change spring is coming.
Exactly.
But
That means
yeah.
spring is coming,
Yeah.
it's around the corner. But if you say to an autistic person, spring is around the corner, he will see that corner and look for a spring.
Spring. Yes, spring.
Okay? Spring is around the corner. So if an autistic person will see, oh, spring is around the corner, there is no spring over there.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Some people ask me, give us another example. I say, okay, you all play Xboxes, you're all Xboxes, and probably autistic people are PlayStation. Different operating systems, different mindset, but the ultimate goal is same. So it is a lifelong disability. Okay. It cannot be cured, and we don't want to cure now. It is a lifelong disability which relates how a person communicates to the world and relate to others. So it's a typical word I'm using, communication, and that's the underlying principle of autism, that they will communicate to you or to the world in variety of different ways. Okay, and which will not be same as you people communicate. Okay, they will understand it differently. As I said, they will sense the world differently. Okay, so effectively, some of them may live independent lives. Okay, and that's what our plan is to, from India's perspective as well, that how much independence we can provide to the autistic person or a disabled person. That's the ultimate goal. How do we improve the quality of life? That's the ultimate goal. We are not after we need to fix this particular behavior. No, we want to basically overall improve their quality of life so they can gain some sort of independence. Okay? Others may have learning difficulty. I'm using the word learning difficulty, and that's where comes Shivam. He has learning difficulties, and how I'll talk about how we found that those learning difficulties and when did we find that. That's the key. So learning difficulties, and they may need lifelong support. And when Shivam was about diagnosed at the age of 2, when he was about 4 or 5 years old, when we were in England, the school principal said, called Mishta and me in the room and said, your son will, as long as he is alive, he will need extensive support. Right that age. And we at that time bursted with tears. Okay? Because we didn't understand what's coming. So that's what disability you're dealing with Shivam. Level of disability. So it is a specialist support for him. Okay, and that's why I'm doing this training. I want you to think differently from after this training, and we will continue doing it anyway. They have sensitivity to sound, smell, visual, lights, taste. They're sensitive. Okay, colors as well. So you might now see Shivam when he's presenting. He's looking at the iPad, he's having his alone time, and you think about those images that comes on the iPad, what is triggering him? What is he looking at? He might be getting excited with the color. Okay? It's a photograph, it's a cartoon, and it does not relate to any excitement that you will normally have when you have your sexual experiences. You're not going to get excited with shirt, No, but he does. He might be impressed by a big smile of shirt, color. He might, and sometimes you see that he smells, takes the pencil and smell. So he gets into, he's excited or he wants that smell. It's a sensory stimulation that he needs from the environment into himself to regulate his day-to-day living. Okay, so the autistic people can be non-verbal, can be verbal. Now, there is another definition I will take, however, it has been taken out of the text these days. Autistic people can be functional, fully functional, can be non-functional. The world has changed, they say everyone's functional, nobody's non-functional these days, to some level, some degree, but I'm classifying functionality in terms of are you able to live independently? If you are fully functional, you should be able to live independently. If you're not, you shouldn't, you can't, you need support. So my definition still is true and I will keep it. Okay. Next thing, signs of autism that you see in early age and at the age of 2, 3 when the child develops, it is a developmental delay. It's caused by developmental delay. Now the first time we looked at Shivam walking, for example, when he was 2, 3 years old, he was walking or circling on toes that no one else can do. He used to do so fast that if you do or I do at that age or any age, we will fall down, feel dizzy. He didn't. Okay, and he would do continuously like a ball spinning around. Unable to respond to his name. When we said Shivam, nah, won't care. Okay, that's the indication of autism. Missed all the development milestones that nurse said. At this particular month, he should be doing this. At this particular month, all milestones were missed. That was a clear indication of there is some problem or he's different. Show no emotions at that stage. Even now, sometimes I think he will not understand emotions fully. Okay, so I always think about in the future, say one of us goes to heaven, he will ask for food. He won't understand what has happened. Those emotions are subdued, possibly. Delayed learning and speech. You can see speech did not get developed that well, verbal speech, but we have been able to bring him to some level of communication through the picture exchange communication system. The next is delayed learning. I have struggled throughout his life to give him, educate him, because you can see if he was normal, he would be going to university, school, passing more grades, whatever. But delayed learning, it hasn't happened. It may not happen throughout his life. Or some magic might happen that suddenly it happens. This is autism. Okay, you cannot predict. Unable to focus on any activities. Previously, when you guys came in, we had struggled. He could not focus on an activity more than 20 seconds. We all know that. Today, you are reporting he did walk for 20 minutes. He did swimming for half an hour. So he's developing. He's coming up. Yes. So he might understand one word, and you want to make him to learn second word. It might take 1 day or a year. You don't know. So it all depends upon his brain, how his brain processes the information, how quickly. Certain information will be processed like that, and you say, look, he did. And some information might take whole of his life to process, or 15 minutes to process, or half an hour to process. This is important. When we are giving him instructions, asking him, do this, yeah, and you see the behaviors coming. So that behavior is nothing but is equal to communication. He is communicating with you. The problem with us is we are unable to interpret what he's trying to say, and that's where our goal should be, to understand through our trial and error, or our intelligence, our history, his history, surroundings, environment, whatever, that what he is trying to say. Okay. Myself and Nishta has been able to understand the communication after so many years of observing him, living with him, so it's not easy. I understand. Isolation is another thing with autism. If a visitor comes, they will never be part of it. They will go and sit in another room. That's isolation. That's common.
He doesn't like.
He does not, social interaction does not like. Autism people would like, he would like to go to Woodgrove Shopping Center or any other place when there is no one. He would love. But when it is crowded, no. Two things happen. He gets noise through the ears, he gets noise through the eyes. Nobody thinks about that. Even if you close your ears, but your eyes can see it's crowded and it can overwhelm your brain. You won't be able to process why there is so much of crowd. It's always about why. You can say, okay, it's daytime, people are shopping, but not him. He thinks, no, there shouldn't be anybody. It should be all, these are shops, that's fine, but why there are people? So, there goes the sleep one, 10%. Okay, so next is routine. Shivam is bound to routine. Okay, whatever is written in behavior support plan is coming out now because it's all in my head. So routine. Never try changing his routine. He has been accustomed to get up in the morning, and now he's going real bad when I say about his routines. However, the first thing he used to do is get up at 7 and have shower. Throughout his life he's done. Now if that routine delays, it brings confusion into his brain. He is unable to regulate why I have not had shower. Okay. I will talk about another disability item that's in the behavior support plan, which is now coming more visible. So keeping him to the routine is our goal. If we bring a change to the routine, we have to bring one at a time. Okay, slowly. Repetition. Autistic people repeat. Those who are verbal, they might go and learn something or look at somebody and say, he was saying umbrella. Okay, I need umbrella. Okay, umbrella, it's gonna rain. I need umbrella, it's gonna rain. I need umbrella, it's gonna rain. Oh. So what I've just said is, this is an autistic voice. The person heard somebody once that it's going to rain, need an umbrella, but the autistic person who is fully verbal comes back and repeats that continuously. Okay, that's another sign of autism. Okay. So repetition. Shivam, on the other hand, repeats everything. Okay, he likes repeating. So since his childhood till now, he's been repeating the same videos he's watching. We have gone sick of it. Lion King, all that, same thing keeps repeating. So repetition, they like repetition. So if Shivam was able to do a job, I could put him in a place where things are repeated, like colds. Everything is repeated. Okay, you put the same thing on the same shelf every day. They love that sort of job. Okay, repetition. Hate crowded place. They have obsessions. Obsessions like water. So Shivam jumped into this deep sea where Nishta saved his life. He would have been gone. Okay, when he was about 5-6 years old or earlier, I can't exactly remember. And when we were in England in Cotswold, At that time, we decided, okay, he cannot swim, we cannot swim, we will teach him swimming. He had obsession of water. If the puddle comes, a river comes, he would jump in it. He didn't know the dangers. So that's another part of autism, not aware of dangers. Okay, he still does not aware of dangers because he's cutting his hand, biting his hand. He cannot sense the pain. If Sukhwinder once had a little bit of scratch on his finger and he was showing to half of the world, okay, and I said, "Come on, Sukhwinder, look at your claw and Shivam." Okay, so why? Because he could feel the pain. He cannot. Their tolerance level of pain is a lot higher. Okay, so that's part of the brain formation. Okay, and then they might get obsession about car, obsession about trains, obsession about animals, anything. Obsession about numbers. Those who are a bit smarter autistic, they get into numbers. They got obsession. Anywhere they see obsession. I would like them to take it to casino one day. Maybe I win some, tax lotto with them. They might be able to predict some numbers. Okay, so that is autism. The autism slowly can develop challenging behaviors. Because why? Now I'm going to talk about when they started becoming behaviors can come early age interventions like 6-7 years of the age, or babies can come when they are adolescents. So Shivam was perfectly fine. He didn't have behaviors of concern until he was 13. And 13, all his behaviors that you see today has emerged. For us, handling that is almost about 2016 and now. So you can say 2016 was the first year when we saw the behaviors. Since then, we've been dealing it. Okay, behaviors peak, explosions, and whatnot. Okay. However, we reacted like everybody reacts. So that is called incident management. So when there is a behavior, what type of behavior Shivam presents? In the behavior support plan, we have 3 types of behaviors classification. One is hurting to self, hurting to others, and damaging property. And the last one is smearing. Smearing is also considered as a behavior. Okay, so those are the 4 behaviors which are in the plan. You can read, and I have clearly defined what are those behaviors, why that happens. Everything is defined. However, one golden rule: behavior is equal to communication. There is no behavior without communication, which means every time you see anybody's behavior, they're trying to communicate. That's all. So, the holistic picture, which is in the behavior support plan about Shivam, is his goals. We have his goals. Most of the goals that I designed for autism is learning goals, improving quality of life. For example, when you see a behavior, particular behavior, let's talk about a behavior that he is actually sitting in his room and biting. So when we say he's biting, before biting, what happened? That's what we need to know. What was in the environment that he went in there sitting and biting? Is this the environment where he sits on and he says, I have to repeat this, I have to bite my arm? Biting is typically in Shivam's life is attention, gaining attention. So when you are attending or not attending to him, both situations, he will bite to attract your attention. One of the part of the behavior analysis we do is we look at attention part. Most of the behaviors, because they are non-verbal, they want other people to attend to themselves for whatever reason, they will throw behavior of protest. The other thing is protest, that I don't want this. So that's why I'm behaving like this, and I'm protesting. You need to understand that I don't want burger. But it's quite interesting in Shivam's case when he says burger, burger, burger. I thought originally, let's get in the burger, he will be happy. So that's why we start looking at, okay, if the burger was a trigger, we got him the burger, but behavior did not stop. So we look at three phases that you need to look at all the time: is what happened before a behavior came in, what was the behavior, and what happened after. How did you replace that replacement of the behavior? What did you do to replace that behavior with something else? And what was the outcome? Outcome in last 2 weeks back, when we had taken him out to the McDonald's in the city in the night, and we bought him the burger. He didn't have behavior that day, but he had continuously repeating. Since then, he has been repeating till whole next day's burger, 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 burger. So that's repetition. So he's trying to communicate. I could not understand until the whole 24 hours have gone. He had a huge meltdown, banging on the wall. This, you guys were not here, it was in the night. And then I realized, actually he's saying that I don't fucking like this burger. Okay. So I and Nishta decided we take burger picture out of his communication book, and next time we will never not talk about McDonald's burger or any burger. We have to replace that with something else. So we looked at what is his likes. So in the behavior support plan, and as you know, you have what is called likes and dislikes. They change. So that's why we keep updating behavior support plan by consulting you every 6 months. Okay, so burger is out. We will focus on, he likes sandwich, he likes Subways, he likes rolls. So that's also more healthier than a burger, but this is his choice. So now comes another part where I'm going to talk about his other presentation, which is you have seen that he is going through quite of the green days. Like, we don't have that behavior of concern. We have behaviors, but not really concerning.
Yeah.
Okay, I will talk about the reason of why we are having green days. Is number one, he's on medication. So medication is controlling his state of mind. I'll talk about some of the medications that he's on are restrictive practices, basically needs approval to be given. Okay. Yes. But in his behavior support plan, there is a mention of medicines, but no mention of chemical restraint. Why? Because you are not allowed to give him any medication.
Yeah.
It's only Nishtha, myself, and Shubham can give. If you have to administer medication, then I have to get an approval. Okay? Because medications are typically analyzed by me, being a dad, guardian, and that's why I'm keeping it to me until such time either the medications are reduced, removed, eliminated, or continued, when I cannot manage that. Okay, so talk number one, restrictive practices. I will give you handouts. It does not have a section on chemical restraint for that reason, because it's designed for Shivam. So number two, the proactive strategies that are listed in your behavior support plan is helping, which you are every day implementing, unknowingly or knowingly or with us. That is helping improving his life and reducing the behaviors. Reactive. So there are two things. Incidents is reactive. When you have an incident, so I'll give an example. There were 3 major incidents that came in last 2 months' time with Shivam. One is in the van, That was a major incident when he smashed the van. Okay. Then there has been the major incident inside the room, with like his room banging on the walls, smashing everything when you guys were not there in the night. And those incidents, that type of incident repeated twice in the last 2 months. I looked at those three incidents and worked out why, and also looked at after that incident what did we do next, or what we should have done next. That is in the behavior support plan. So I'm going to talk about that's in here. So those three incidents. So I'm going to switch now. So now you have understood the reasons and why. So your everyday job is improving his life through what? Through activities, through getting him engaged. You can't let him sit idle. Shivam is not the person that I have always said that who will do anything by himself except eating. Okay, so you need to keep him engaged, and engaged to a level that you need to also think another aspect, that are we overwhelming him? There needs to be a balance. You cannot just apply what I call defense principle or army principle over here. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. You cannot put pressure. Okay, you need to go. You need to have a fair bit balance, and it's very hard to explain what is the fair bit balance if somebody asks, because it's your experiences that comes as a
It
picture.
takes them 100 times extra than us to understand
Yes,
things.
yes. So it will take time to understand. You learn from what has happened, and your experiences count. Our experiences count. Okay. You might bring some experiences from your own lives by managing your own children or somewhere else, managing other clients. You can bring those experiences, see, and we have a discussion, we apply and see if that works, because it's all about gaining knowledge about Shivam's mind. What's in his mind? It's very difficult. So, um, so what I concluded that day, that we have forgotten what's written in behavior support plan. He should not be in the van when the van is stationary more than 5 minutes in the harness. You need to take him out. Okay, so we forgot. And when I came out, I said, no, let me take him out. I know he's at the height of his aggression, but let me take him out. We took him out, redirected to inside home, and I found that after that it was quicker. His self-regulation was quicker. He was coming down the curve of behaviors. So that's the thing. It's written. Melissa and Michael wrote that 5 minutes is more than enough. Okay. So when you're taking him in community, if the behavior starts, when the curve starts that way, behavior starts. The one thing we do is, which is wrong, I do as well, which is not 100% correct, is we say, even Shiva, stop. No, he's communicating. We don't want to stop him communicating. So what we have to do is, again, all those aspects. He might be looking for a space. He's some problem with his what he's found in the environment, vision, smell, taste. In van, I could say it is a space issue. Being in harness, sitting over there is not easy. Okay. I also noticed when we went to the Anand's home the other day, another interesting thing I noticed that I was going to discuss with you. The van does not have, I noticed van does not have good shockers. Okay, and himself and myself are on the best seats. Normally, whatever happens, we won't feel the bump. But Shivam had a whole backache because he was sitting in the back seat. Okay, And I just realized it could be to others as well, those who are not complaining, or it could be to Shivam as well. So whenever we drive the van, it is not driven by the thoughts of that it is a SUV, comfortable car, or a car. It's a bus. Okay, it's you sit in the, on those. You guys sit on the seat like the old van that I had. I sat once and I wasn't happy. It was too hard, and I was thinking, shall I go and buy this van or not? But that's another thing we discovered. So whenever you drive the van, you need to go below the speed of normal cars or smooth drives like you do, smooth turns, because that would be another reason. Because Shivam has been always like, also he does other things, but generally comes and says in the night, compress my legs. But he wouldn't communicate. But Shivam had 2 days of problem. He couldn't do anything. He was putting bandages. He said, and I said, what happened? He wouldn't say. And he said to me, your van. Sit on the back seat. You will know what happened.
Really? Oh, you guys notice anything?
Oh yeah. We don't get it.
No, but still, they're sitting.
They're sitting, but
You know
make
that
sure
happened?
his shocker is no good. This man's shockers are no good. Trust me.
I mean, he got so like that.
Oh, he got so 2 days he was putting the crate bandages.
And maybe he played football over there.
No. So please, those are the environmental things that we need to look at. We are basically not going in a what is called Luna Park in a bus. Okay, we need to look at comfort of every, because this can cause behavior. Luckily, Shivam didn't have behaviors that day. He was excited because he might not have. Again, he might not be able to. His pain tolerance is higher than anyone else. Okay.
Yep.
But seats, the back seat is horrible. Okay. Or the side seats are horrible. I sat on the old van. It was horrible. It was just horrible. Okay. So that's another thing. That's another example. Okay. So in your life, dealing with disability and Shivam, you need to keep analyzing what caused the behaviors or what could cause the behavior earlier. So that is the part that I describe in the behavior support plan as proactive strategies. Incident management, I normally call, you have 1 incident, 2 incident, 3 incident, 4 incident. Okay, I have 4 incidents of the same type or major incidents, okay. That means I need to do something proactively. So now I do problem management. I've got a problem over here because I had 4 incidents of that type. Something is wrong. So then I go into the hats of analyst and start to see what happened before, what was the behavior, and what happened after. And how can I replace that behavior with something else? Replacement of the behavior, redirection, number 1. Okay. Try to see as soon as behavior starts. It's also advisable by disability board in Australia that in harness you shouldn't drive more than 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, give 10 minutes break. Take him out, back into the harness. That's the rule, golden rule. So when we're going on long drive, we got to at least stop by half an hour every time, bring him out. So I'm not saying if Shivam is happy, he manages, we can go for the whole trip. Okay, but you did last time, you stopped for coffee, excellent. Okay, so that gives him a break, but just stopping doesn't help. I've actually now going to move stopping and bringing him out. Like 7-Eleven is an opportunity to bring him out,
Just
get him a
stand
biscuit,
outside, yeah.
or whatever he wants. At least he's out, his legs are stretched. Like we all do, okay? It's nothing different, okay? So you take all the opportunity to do whatever is possible. That's what I normally say. I'm very open, not very stringy, because it's all about, this whole life is about a dance, you know, okay? And when you dance, there are no limits, okay? You have a control, you have a discipline, but you're free. That's what I'm trying to say. Next is same thing in any environment, like at home. If the behaviors come in, we need to redirect. When the behavior starts growing up, your voice should come silent. You never speak to a person who is already an angry person because it will promote the fight. So you go silent and use any other method like with Shivam. When he's going up, we may communicate to him by using one or two words and clearly. Like Nishta is a very good example. She does it very effectively. You can learn from her. So she does it very effectively. But she can also go wrong. Like day before yesterday, Monday, I found that she was continuously saying, Shivam, stop, Shivam, stop, Shivam, stop. And I came down, can you please shut up? Because it's flipping irritating me. You're talking about Shivam. That's a very clear example. You cannot. You need to immediately change your dance. Okay? Now, in the comes, there will be few questions that will come up. I will start with, this is all is in behavior support plan, but our goal is to improve his life, engage him in more and more activities in community, okay, and at home, provided making sure that he does not overwhelm, giving him choices, not as this, two choices. Autism brain gets confused relatively fast. If you give them two choices, then their brain may not be able to process.
Pick one.
And that's why we had problems when we showed him burger and this, he asked for this. So how do we show choices? I will still give you the choice, but I show you the first picture of burger, and if you say yes or no, if you say no, I'll show you the next one. That's also still meeting his choice because he's responding. So we give all the opportunity for him to communicate. Yeah, this is a common thing. Throughout the spectrum, I've seen confusion. No matter if you're this side of the spectrum or that side of the spectrum, this is the whole jungle in their brain, confusion, processing. It's like a computer. Too many wires in the brain. We had half of them in our lives. They have 3 times the wires. And the circuit in the brain is too complex, and something process bang quickly, something doesn't process. So it's a processing issue, communication issue. Another aspect I will also say about his behavior. For last 1 year, we have identified that he has OCD. Okay, and OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder. It is not part of autism, but it comes with part and parcel of autism. It is a mental disorder. Okay, now we haven't been able to get a proper diagnosis because we can't. He's non-verbal. You can't do 90% of diagnosis that NDIS wants. It's trial and error. Psychiatrist has said that could be. Nobody can be 100% sure. But OCD means, OCD what happens, somebody who goes to the tap, washes the hand, it's not clean. I go again, wash the hand, it's not clean. I used to have a friend in the UK, she was OCD, she had the OCD disorder. She used to tell me that, Amit, I can't sleep in the night. I said, why? She goes, the door is always open in the front. It's closed, I know, but I don't know, I keep checking all night whether I've locked the door or not. That is OCD,
I
obsession.
think a lot of people got it OCD. It's very common.
Yes,
I got one.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, if let's say if I diagnose you, you might be somewhere in the spectrum. Who knows?
I tell you, I check my car 5 times every night when I go inside the house. Is it locked or not? Even after locking the door, open the door again and check
Exactly.
it is locked or not.
Exactly. But again, I say autism is that big spectrum, where you lie in it and what type of support you need, whether you are able to live independently or not. That's whole the criteria defines. Okay. The next is RRB, restricted, repeated behavior. OCD is on this side. It's a mental disorder. RRB is not mental disorder, but a part and parcel of autism. So RRB is this. Okay. I'm imagining I'm Shivam. Okay, so I don't have shower. I don't have shower. I don't have shower. What's missing? The next step. His RRB, restricted behavior, is not. I will say the next step. Okay, you see what is the impact. I can get up. I can get up, but he's not able to get up.
Yeah.
This is RRB. There is no medication for that, and there is no solution for that. But his mind is unable to process the next step, and that's why he's delaying. And what is needed? Intervention. At that point of time, you bring him the sequence of that activity in the form of pictures with Shivam. You have to have shower, Shivam. Then you do this next. So making him
Help
get
him
up.
get up.
Showing him
Yeah.
step by step.
Yep.
Okay. OCD. Now you can see the OCD. OCD is there. Burger train.
Yep.
Starts. All that in repeated sense. Okay. It could be. So that's why in the behavior support plan, it was my and Nishtha's diagnosis rather than actually psychiatrist, because he can't talk, so we can't do any diagnosis. So what happened then is, after 1 year of our analysis at home, Nishtha kept on saying he has OCD, very severe OCD. So I said the only way to try whether it's an OCD is we can give him OCD medication, and then we will see if this repetitive behavior gets controlled, because OCD is not autism, it is a mental disorder. OCD is not a behavior. Okay, so he's not trying to communicate, it's a state of mind. For that, you need medication. Okay, you cannot solve by therapy. So RRB you can. So in OCD, then doctor prescribed anafrenil. The moment he gave anafrenil, this behavior went away in 3 days, or this kind of action went away in 3 days. We still have it, and that's why you're seeing all green. Disadvantage of anafrenil and the medication is his rates going up.
Yeah.
That's so you need to balance. If I reduce the medication, biting is part of OCD. Yes, biting, because he has autism, it's part of autism and OCD combined complex factor, because he's repeating that. Attention as well as the action. Attention comes from behavior, action comes from mental state. When somebody goes and commits suicide, cuts the hand, or kills themselves, it's not behavior, it's mental state. So that's how I've been actually studying and working and joining those dots together to holistically manage Shivam's life and improve the quality of life. So all 6 axes I normally look at and say, what can we change to give him better life? Okay. So I've touched on all the technical terms that are in the behavior support plan, and if you have questions, you can always pick me up. What about this? What about this? Think differently with him. You'll be fine. The next part of our session or training is on restrictive practices. So these are the very easy notes, couple of liners rather than anything specific. So I'm just gonna look at, I haven't got a copy, but I have to read it. But this is very important. So this is what happens. I bring too many papers to show you, but then when I start teaching, it all comes off my mind. That's what happens every time. I think I'm just gonna look at where this is. Give me a sec. This one. Okay, I'm just gonna go. This is important, and this is law. Okay, so you are dealing with Shivam, and he has restricted practices on him. So you need to be very accurate what these are, understand them, what you can and cannot do. Okay, so the first is seclusion. Okay, the boldly simple line: sole confinement of a person with disability in a room or a physical space. Physical space. Yeah?
Yep.
At any hour of the day or night where voluntary exit is prevented. You're not allowing voluntary exit. If the disabled person wants to get out, you are not allowing him or her. Okay? Or not facilitated. You can facilitate. If he, like Shivam, if suppose you ask him to redirect to a place in his room, in own room, okay, but he wants to come out and you're not allowing that, then you are using seclusion, which is prohibited in Victoria.
Yep.
Okay. Prohibited means being an APA, serious consequences. Okay. So what is behaviors are there. So basically we are with him in the room. He's allowed to come out whenever he wants. Okay? It's his choice. Somebody said to me, okay, like Shivam's example. Shivam runs towards his room, bangs the door. Okay? But this action is his choice. You haven't done it. It's his choice. He wants to go into the room. It's his choice. Still, what we do is we facilitate. If the door is not opening for any reason, we open it for him.
Yep.
So he can come out whenever he wants. Okay, that's it. So we have whenever you are in doubt, use these flowcharts for anything you have done. And these flowcharts are pretty clear. And they say, is the person confined by themselves to a room or physical space at any hour of day or night? If yes, in Shivam's case, you might go say, okay, he was sitting in his room, yes. Okay, but it was not confined. It was open, he would come out. But still, let's say if you go this track, yes, is the voluntary access prevented or not facilitated? No. Then what does it read? Is the person choosing to be in the private space above and are able to voluntarily leave the space whenever they want? Answer is yes. Then seclusion is not used. This is what I want you to keep in the mind. We have to do. We never end up into a situation that we have secluded him. It's prohibited. That's why this is number one. The Department of Family Affairs is, even if, like, I want to put it in the behavior support plan that if suppose this is required, I don't think it's required. Previously it was, I took it out, but the VPS, Victorian State Practitioner, did not approve the plan. He kept on saying no. why you are not implementing the strategies. And the MD guys came to me, you asked for 3 workers and you're locking the person in the room. That's why. This part is very important. You will know everything that I've been always talking to you on the sides. Yeah? Okay, next. So, seclusion, no, is not in Shivam's plan. So, you cannot implement. Okay? Physical restraint. Physical restraint is the use of is the use or action of physical force to prevent, restrict, or subdue movement of a person's body or part of their body for primary purpose of influencing the behavior. When we were in Irapina, only Annie knows, I think you guys came after Irapina was gone. Irapina is in legislation because they used physical restraint without approval, which is in the video. So you never hold the person, you never block the person, no physical restraint until and unless, next part, physical restraint does not include the use of hands-on technique. So I will show you, come out, okay, come out. Supinder, come. What Irapina used to do, I'll show you demonstration, and this is not allowed now. Okay, so this is think he's Shivam and he's agitated, he's having meltdown, and I'm going to direct him to a safe room. So they use physical restraint. Can you do hand like this?
Yeah.
Okay, can you put? Yeah. That is a physical restraint.
Yeah.
Cannot do anything like that. So, but let's say Shivam is crossing the road because he's unaware of the danger.
Yeah.
And you see the car coming, and you did that. Like sometimes I do for Annie as well because he doesn't look straight. Okay, so I do this. That is not a physical restraint.
Yeah. That
Okay?
means
So common sense prevails all the time. I say, you would normally do to anyone.
Anyone, yes.
Yeah, and like Nishtapul, when he was
even for our own kids.
even for your own.
Yeah, because when they just want to run on the road, we just stop them.
Yes,
That
yeah.
is like
So it's the same thing.
Yep.
And Shivam is pretty good now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you don't have to use those. And because of those physical restraints being used, his behavior is going up.
Yeah.
And honestly, the credit goes to you all because the way you guys has been, or you previous workers has been handling at home is least restrictive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Irabina I was not very happy with how they did it. There was no solution.
Yeah.
Okay. So they redirect a person away from potential harm, injury, consistent with what could reasonably be considered the exercise of care towards a person. Okay, now I'm going to stop here and give an example, which is very important in Shivam's case. He's one of the behaviors, he will come to you and charge you, which is in like hurting you. How will you have right to protect yourself, but right to protect yourself doesn't mean you'll run away. Okay? But we cannot use any physical restraint. So what we do is I've given you bean packs, so you can hold the bean packs. He can come and push you on the bean bag, but you cannot push him back.
Yep.
If you push him back, suppress, press, that is physical restraint. Okay. So you can use that barrier in a reflexive way.
Yep.
Okay. So I have always given training that when somebody is coming towards you, and if you are standing like that with whatever, you can have a bulldozer or whatever in front of you, you will not be able to control yourself with even the slightest impacts because both of the foot are on the same axis. It does not give you strength, grip on the floor. I do always like that. Okay, it gives me more strength, but I don't fight. I will just say stop. Okay, so this gives me more. Now he can come with more pressure. I won't fall because I've got support of forces coming this way, and I'm putting exertion this way. But over here, force was coming this way, but exertion was this way.
Yeah.
So I will fall. Physics.
Yeah.
Nothing else. So if you use the bean bags, it's for your safety. You can give him space. You can sit far away from him. He will come running towards you. But if you're away, when he runs towards you, like in the main corridor or wherever, you are sitting with the bean bags to safeguard you. That's fine. By the time he comes to you, he has already gained the input of what he wants to do. The space gives gain. If that space is reduced,
Collapse.
he will take it out on you. Sometimes he goes on the wall, dum, once, done. Then he goes into the room, bang, done. These are all behavior of protest. I can do this. And once he does that, he de-escalates, he's happy. Or his process of de-escalation starts. But if we do reverse, if we combat him, then of course we are raising the behavior. Okay, so our job is to do whatever possible, but not come into a situation because physical restraint has there has been news that physical restraint used by the workers has actually broken the bone of the arm or something like that, because if you hold him and he's pressing, his arm is gone. So that's what happens. So according to the Victorian state practitioner, 2:1 support is not considered as restrictive practices. When you have 3:1, it's a restrictive. They do not allow 3 people to 1 support at all. I have been asking because of Shivam's situation, but if you read the behavior support plan, we will come in the next slide. So it is 2:1 support for community access. Third one is a driver. Relief, okay, or relief, okay, because I will not get approval if I put 3:1. So one person is gone. So it's now they are getting very strict. So that's why I keep on saying maybe till next plan I won't have third person at all. Okay, and I don't have in my funding. I don't have for a whole year. Third person is only for 6 months. Okay, which is but you don't have to worry. I've been doing my own budgeting to carry on with the support I need. Okay, so again going through that chart of physical restraint is important. So you can now go through, I don't have to repeat it. Okay, but what is important, I'm coming, because again, physical restraint, restraint is not in Shivam's plan, you cannot apply. Okay. Next, mechanical restraint is in Shivam's plan. You need to read that carefully. And what is there? Shivam's harness and buckle guard while traveling in van. My question to you, is this restricted?
Yes.
Good. Okay, this is restricted. So let's look at the, I'm just going to point out and read the section that you need to be very restricted practices schedule is around in the end of the plan, and there are only 2 restrictive practices for Shivam. The first one is implementing buckle cover and harness. Who can implement? Only at the moment, only who are from AICS.
Yep.
They can buckle. You can't. Okay, but once we get into the plan, then you will be fine.
Yep.
Okay, Gurmeet was doing it because we were reporting Gurmeet through Shaling. It was agreed, but nothing else is agreed. Okay, so that's why I have not been doing anything. You guys can do it. Okay? Now, the purpose of this is read back is all about safety. The second point I will say, Shiva must be supported to leave the harness and car as soon as practical when a journey ends. He must be in harness for no longer than 5 minutes either side of the journey to allow for the transition in and out of the car. This is normally, but this is why, even if the behaviors are peaking, taking out is a better solution. Because what is the danger of mechanical restraint? The belt can put marks over here, he can get injury just by doing this.
Yep.
They are more dangerous than anything else. Okay? If you bring him out in the open space, there is less chance of injury.
Yep.
Any injury that happens goes reported to NDI straight away. Okay, injury, I will talk about injury to an extent that he was hospitalized. If it is not hospitalized, then it is reported to the behavior support practitioner and carers. So basically, you come to us, me, straight away. Okay, maximum time that Shivam should be in the harness should be 1 hour. Where a journey is longer than this, it would be recommended that a 15-minute break with the journey to allow Shivam to receive attention, have access to movement and mobility, and have increased choice throughout the journey. So which you guys do really well. Like typically, Nitin is a fan of, coffee.
That's a coffee.
So that is good because we stopped and I wasn't expecting, because normally most of the time we just go straight, which is good. Okay, so every 6 months this is reviewed. So I don't think it's going to come out. We have tried to take the harness out. Another interesting point, buckle guard in itself. If you don't have harness, buckle guard is not restrictive practices. So VSP wants me to reduce it to buckle guard, but it's not possible.
Yes.
We tried.
We tried in the past and it was not possible.
So I don't know what time, but we will still. What we will do is there is a strategy given. I got it written in the plan. Basically, we can try some known areas, like when you're taking him to swimming pool, not to have the harness.
Yep, we can try.
Short trips.
Short trips we can try.
Short trips only. And where it is.
Park.
I'm going to the park. Yeah, short trips only.
Short trips, yeah. And when he's happy,
yeah.
good.
Depends. So in that way, we are showing that, okay, basically, because he has to learn as well.
Yeah.
So my biggest danger is that he may not ever learn that he can travel without harness.
Yeah. Because the other thing is, whenever he goes in the van, the first thing he put the harness on himself.
So
that's in his behavior as well.
It's not behavior. It's not behavior. It is basically another word called ritual.
Ritual word. Yeah.
It has become a habit. It's a ritual that I always go like this.
Yeah.
But we need to change. This is a slow change, so we can try sometimes like that.
Yeah, I think we can try with the short
You used to try, but we just get. When I told Melissa said, I never said to you to remove his harness.
Yeah.
Why did I said I'll try? Yeah. So she was over me. Yeah. Oh, she didn't do that. Okay. So now comes the another one, which is the second one. Second restrictive practice is you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. There is the one, page 1. Yeah, environmental. So in that one we had physical is not there, environmental is there. So environmental means it will be chemical is not there. Physical, chemical, and seclusion is not there.
Yeah.
You only have environmental and mechanical. And what is defined. So it is again will be implemented by AICS only. So that's why I have been really worried, because um, the Annie was direct, so I had always an issue. How do I, she can't implement anything. Okay, so I'm registered now, so basically soon we will be on the same stage. Okay, so they will do as well as we will do. Okay, so this one is 2:1 support is only allowed. So I got cleverly changed. AICS can provide me 2:1 support. Best I can do, and he can be 1:1 that way. But luckily, because it was for good me, basically, I had to make one person as a driver.
Yep.
Because we needed one driver, and it is five. So 2:1 at present it is routine.
Yep.
Okay, routine means it's always. But the VSP wants me to make it PRN, that as and when required. It's not possible. It is possible when I see the behaviors decrease. I still will have 2:1 support, but not restricted. So there are two aspects of behavior support plan: restricted practices, and everything else is not like general. So there can be behavior support plans can be without restricted practices. That's what we want. Okay, it is a plan to improve somebody's life, but there are some restrictions needed because of their behaviors, because of the high risk and harm. That's what it is. So this is important. I'll read it to you. I have to read it to you. The use of restrictive practices will be faded over time as Shivam develops and independently uses the new replacement behaviors that have been taught over the course of his life. So it's a long term. The functionality equivalent replacement behaviors is the one that you are every day trying. We can do this, we can do this, we can do this. How do I replace that behavior not to occur? What should I do that behavior should not occur? That's the functional replacement behavior. So how? Increasing his communication skills through PACS and any augmented technology, which is iPad or whatever. You need to focus on your communication. If you focus on communication, everything else will be okay. Communication and learning, communication, education, communication, autism, go back, everything is all about learning. It's all about education. It's all about knowing what is the world around you. It's all about now. Very interestingly, how did we? Couple of years back, if you look at, he never used to recognize like who is the worker. So we introduced pictures of the worker, and guess what he did yesterday, Saturday, and he was here to do household tasks, and we put the picture of Annie up on the top, that Annie is over here, okay, and he asked Annie to come in and do his massage and everything, taking advantage of Annie. But then Annie said, I have to go do other tasks. And she went to do other tasks. And you know what he did? He took Annie's picture out and put it in the pack, because what is he communicating? He's saying that you are here, but not for me, probably. Not for the community access. Okay, for other things. Okay. So he is quite intelligent. So this is what communication is. So by bringing pictures, you can improve his understanding. The more he understands, more his expectations are met, predicted before his behaviors will come down. Okay. The restrictive practices can be reduced once Shivam is observed using his communication skills across 80% of the opportunities. This is quite a high target. We haven't met 80% of the things you say to him. He is able to communicate through text or whatever, or pointing, or actions, or anything. Communication can be through any other way rather than verbal. Verbal is difficult. Yep. So these are the goals. So the one thing about the plan is that the human support is not going to go less than 2:1 throughout his life. Last one. Shivam only requires 3 support staff while in community. Third staff is used to manage brakes, care relief, driving the vehicle. This is not deemed as restrictive practices, as the staff is not in place due to person's behavior presentation. So watch out. The 2 people behavior. So it is a good thing. Why? Because even if you, whenever you see behavior, if you keep less people around, like 2 people in front, 1 at the back. So to the back person actually supports you rather than actually is there for Shivam's behavior.
Yep.
Then you will see that he's overwhelming, because one thing you need to know is that by having, just imagine, so when all the time throughout your life, if 3 people walk around you,
Yep.
how will you feel?
It's overwhelming.
You overwhelming. What will
Like on the wash.
He's going to tell my wife, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. Or somebody, whatever. You know, you will feel definitely uneasy.
Yeah.
You know, I go to work. I like to sit in a place where there's no one.
Yeah.
Okay? In cubicle. I don't like to sit in an open place where everybody's watching. Because then everybody's, you know, I get conscious because then I say, okay, how do I sneak off? I gotta go home. Who's looking around, you know? So these are the human behaviors, you know. So same thing with him. So when sometimes what happens is Monday to Friday we notice, and when we all come over here, we all gather around him, overwhelmed. He must be thinking, I'm normal, I'm a human being, I got no problem. Why these people are always there? And he gets upset with my voice because I get telling people do this, do this, do this. Okay, then he says, why does he always comes around and talks to these people and say, do this, do this, and she only doing this. So he's getting overwhelmed. He's not liking it. So that's why we have to maintain, because we know there are risky situations and that can come any time, any moment. There are meltdowns, there are severe behaviors which would cause all those things, hurting to self, hurting to others. We have to respond to it. We have to take him in the community, okay, and we have to build. But you know, he doesn't understand any of that. So how do we maintain that gap? Is by I call formation is a word. When you have more people, like in army, you go like in a formation. Army never goes in a straight line.
No.
Okay, if they go in a straight line, they all will be dead.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a formation, there is a backup. Okay, so that's how we have to. So that way, spread out, be there, spread out. But when needed, jump in. And then again, as I have said that you need to be clever enough. Make sure that he does not see you guys in a long term as a problem, so that it becomes a ritual in his life. That's what is the danger of doing anything anyway. Ritual means then you say, he used to be like this, he used to be happy elsewhere going around Grey Ocean Road. The moment we turn our vehicle into Krypton Drive, behavior started.
Yeah.
This room, his own room has become because of Irabina, has become an area that I want to undo. I want to undo all the blue walls. I want to do everything right so that it is no longer seen as it is an Irabina. Unfortunately, so before that, I have done little changes. He sleeps upstairs, not in that room at all. The upstairs rooms are not modified. It doesn't have blue walls. In the night he wakes up. I initiated, you can have toilet over here just in the night. You don't have to go down. Have Shivam over here, and he sat down at toilet. Since that day till now, he's been using toilet upstairs. So just a fraction of things at the right time can actually teach him what to do, what not to do, because the trigger was that in the night he will wake up for the toilet, and then he only, in his mind, the ritual was toilet is downstairs. While we have 2 bloody toilets upstairs. But who will introduce? So I didn't introduce in the night. Then another trigger was that if Nishtha introduced it, it will be a trigger. Because as soon as he sees Nishtha in the night, he says, okay, I'm going to go down and I'm going to do this and she's going to do this. Right? So I intervene. I don't wake up Nishtha in the night, even if unless she's like going in grumpy. So I wake up, I take him to the toilet, he interacts with me, and then he has started saying more. He says, "Chup reh, andar chal." So I do like this, and he goes sleep with me again, back again. But if Nishtha comes in, then he says, okay, next step is I've done the toilet over here, or maybe I'll go downstairs and do the toilet, but I'm gonna go down, sit in the room. Sitting in that room is itself a ritual, and it is a trigger. That's what my next goal is, that I want him out of that room as much as possible. And you guys are doing good, because we have plenty of space downstairs. Even if he should be given opportunity, or like he has the opportunity to come up, but his ritual is he thinks in the daytime I'm not going to go up. Only time he comes up is when you have bye-bye.
Yeah.
Right? So basically, my original idea was I will take him like a school, because he's like school, and that's why when you guys go, bye-bye, okay, it's free time, school's off,
Yeah.
okay, teachers are gone. Okay, so autism difficult. Anything you do it becomes negative with him.
Yeah.
You go one step, he goes 4 steps ahead of you. So Shivam has always challenged. Marisa still says he's the guy who has thrown everybody out. Okay, so because he's in autism, if you are not smart, like Shivam is intellectually disabled, which means he does not understand the world around him. He cannot learn in the same way as you guys do. On the other hand, he's quite smart and clever enough to manipulate you.
Yeah.
So that thing is
For example, like you want to change, you go in and make it better on a purpose.
yes.
Yeah.
So we have
That's
a choice.
it.
But yeah.
That is
He's already
what is
there.
that?
Oh,
That's
okay.
it. There is also this is part of functional behavior assessment we do, and that comes attention. So I'll make this dirty because then you will have to change it. And one again, I'll sit down over there.
Yeah, he's thinking
I'll go grumpy. You know, you need to think what's in. That's how they think. I'll go grumpy. Okay? And another very important one, when you are dealing with incident, the real part. We have talked a lot about proactive, but not about incident. When you are dealing with incident, let's say he's having meltdown at the peak level, or meltdown is coming up. Okay, what you do is we don't wait till his curves all come down, because I have seen if you wait, his curve doesn't come down for a whole day or a couple of hours. So we have to intervene. So what I do, so number one rule, when you intervene, don't overcrowd. Everybody does not go in, because then he will know, oh, come on now, I'm going to do this, I'm going to break his balls. Okay? So he's going to go into that mood. So you go, again, formation way. Okay? Then when you go in silent, no verbalization. So he's asking for verbalization, he's asking for attention. No verbalization. The first rule is, golden rule is, you need to bring zero attention towards him. So what I do here now is, after a long time I realized this, I go into this room, I got a beam back to protect myself, I'm in this formation, and I'm standing, and I'm just maybe not looking at him, just normal, and because there's no point asking, what's wrong, Shivam? He knows there's something wrong, and it's no point, it's not going to help. So effectively, first thing he does is, I am aware about his actions. That's the key. You need to know in those situations, what can he do? That's the key. And if he does this, options. If he does this, I'll do this. If he does this, I'll do this. I'll do this. But I go completely silent and do nothing first. Now his action will be to gain attention. He will come and scratch is the one. Okay, so when he scratch, I bring my beanbag up and I just make myself strong. So that scratch is gone. He will come again. So luckily he hasn't done. When you put this on, he goes down and bites.
Yep.
So that's an action, second action. So then the second worker like Shubham comes in and Shubham does it at the bottom to protect my feet. Okay, and verbal prompting, Shivam, sit back, relax, no more. Okay, so when you talk to him, break your words. Don't have to have full sentence. You only use noun and verb, or verb and noun combination. Sit back. Okay, so that's how. Relax. First, then this, then that. If he says ice cream, yes, you will get it after you relax.
Yeah.
Okay, so when he's going on feet, the communication, verbal communication, is low and very little words and very directed. Okay, and don't repeat too many times because that will bring his anger up. He will get more agitated because he is not at that position when he is at a listening state. When we do say that, when people fight, typically I've heard husbands saying that when my wife gets angry, I go for a walk. Why? Because if he stays in, and he will also start saying something, so that gives time for self-regulation of the missile to be normal. Okay, so those strategies are human behaviors. They work. So effectively, I can only educate, but when I go into the room, when I deal with Shivam, I'm always learning from whatever I did or I do and see what works, what doesn't work. Shivam, it's working. Reduce the attention. He's a high attention seeker. It's in the behavior support plan. And there are a couple of words I can basically state while you are here. So triggers, function, attention, access, escape, and sensory. 4 things. So does he want anything? Access, like he wants chips. You need to see if you give him chips or not give him chips. Like, for example, very clearly, many times you have experienced, I've said to Nishta, why can't he have chicken today if he's asking chicken today? Why it is going to be only on Tuesday and Saturday or Sunday? Okay? Because that's her plan, not our plan. Okay? So if he asks for access to a preferred item, then that needs to be acknowledged, seen. Now, here is the thing. Top burger. We have already identified that is a trigger for behavior, whether you give or not give. So ice cream is still at a softer side. Sometimes he takes it, but burger is a big no-no.
Yep.
Okay. So again, it's not one thing. So there is no, in terms of human behavior or human being, it's not X, Y, Z. Or it is like you got to look at holistically and say, what does he mean? Does he really want? I've explained to you now. Escape, non-preferred environmental activity. You try to get him to do something and he's escape. He wants to escape. He wants to get out of it. I don't want to do it. And that's where the behavior is. Good example was that incident on the van that day. You wanted to take him somewhere, but he didn't want to. He wanted to escape. So in order to escape, he had the biggest meltdown. Okay. sensory stimulation. This is hard to see because it's about feeling, smell. But with Shivam, he's high sensory stimulated. Unfortunately, I haven't had OT for that. The only important part is that when I had two ODs, they were not able to do anything with him because in terms of sensory stimulation, you need years and years of experience to deal with it. And I figured out Nishta and myself are better than them in terms of analysis of sensory needs. Sensory needs starts with sniffing. You think he's having sex. Yeah, he could be having sex, but masturbation, that's where it starts. It simulates him having an iPad right in front, smelling the rubber, sensory things, stimulates his body. Why do we wear perfume? What happens if you had a perfume that you didn't like?
Yeah.
Okay, you get irritated. Suppose, sometimes there was a girl in the UK. She used to work with us as a trainer, and she always wore that horrible perfume. Each time I went in, I couldn't stand.
She don't want anybody near her.
I couldn't go anywhere near her, and it was nice.
Well, she putting recorded.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Whatever, but,
don't want anybody near her.
but whatever reason we can't say.
Yeah.
But I would like it.
Yeah.
So in order to replace her behavior, one day I did. I went and bought a perfume for her. And I said, this could look nice on you.
Yeah.
Really? Thank you, I'm very much. I said, excellent. My
That's it.
job is done. Okay, so you need to do this, sometimes. Everybody was thinking that Amit is having an affair with this teacher. I'm not having an affair, I'm trying to get rid of the smell that I don't
I
like.
don't like it.
Okay, so these are things, your body smell, your, anything else, okay? Smell, taste. So Shivam was very particular, has always been particular. He would smell, he would know about the food by smelling. Who does it? Dogs do it. They smell first before eating. But it's not that they get a taste, but sometimes as well, when you smell a particular food, and if you don't like the smell, you don't feel like eating.
The like and dislike.
Likes and dislikes. So you don't feel like eating, Color, like yesterday, Nishta's pasta was looking like so pale that I didn't want to eat.
Yeah.
But I ate. It was tasty. But the color said this shit. Right?
Yeah.
So that I'm trying to teach you sensory over here. So visual. In case of Shivam, the visual is a crying baby from a distance. Even though train, we had the problems in the trains. A crying baby is a trigger. Okay, he does not like that shrilling sound, and he also does not wear the earmuffs. So what will you do? Get him out of the train, or chuck the baby out of the train? No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So effectively, then what happened? We realized that there were babies in the train, but they were not crying. They were not even noisy, but he was still upset. Because it's the visual. His sensory stimulation was saying any time they can cry and make noise. I want to get rid of them now. So that's how they think and feel. So visual, I say, whenever I go into a train buggy, I first go and have a look. Are there any mothers and children sitting over there? Good luck, I'm not going in. Okay, and in Queensland is the only place in Australia where all trains have autistic carriage, and I've been trying to say that in Victoria that we should have that. If there is a carriage just for autism, they will go in a train easily, because if you put all autistic people over there, what's going to happen? There won't be any sound. It will be they can't.
They get triggered with each other, yeah?
No, they get triggered with normal people even talking. Because what happens in autistic, when the sensory stimulation, certain sounds will amplify far more larger waveform and go into their ear, into their head, create a noise. And they cannot tolerate. It's just like, there's so much of noise, but actually it's not for you. Shivam was the person that in this home, there is a tree over there, that front. He could hear the bird on that tree. We couldn't. When we came in, he was so
Yeah.
sensory. He could see, and I said, "What is he doing?" Then one day I saw, there are birds over there, and he's putting. I said, "What? I can't even hear anything what these birds are saying," but his ears were
Very sensitive.
seeing. So those are the things that we always ignore, and these are the reasons for or whys for the behaviors. So I hope you have enjoyed the session. I don't know how many hours it was, but when I started, it's about 2 hours, 1.5 hour, a bit 2 hours, which is good. So it's recorded. If you want to have an access and review it, what we said is fine, but that's the bit of briefing. Any questions now? Any specific questions?
See going on?
You can ask questions.
No, I'm just saying. No, we should have this, after every couple of months.
Yeah, that's fine.
Talk about all the behaviors happening in
Yeah, we
months.
should.
Yeah.
We have lot.
This usually happen,
It usually happens,
Yeah,
and because we are monitoring, we
Yeah.
need to talk about data. So
Mm.
each time, what we will do is, we will have not every couple of months these big sessions, but every
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah,
weeks
something.
we will get together and
Yes.
discuss the
Often,
data
especially discuss the
and
behaviors.
discuss
that
what you are facing, so
Yeah.
that we are able to
Discuss big meltdowns like
yeah,
what happened.
discuss the
discuss the
meltdown
behaviors,
incident.
what happened.
We have to
Yeah.
discuss the
So you
incident.
can improve, what's the conclusion comes to it.
So yeah, and bringing, if you have any idea, this is our office space. If we all come together and say, okay, this is what Nathan thinks, this is what Sid thinks, this is what you guys think. Let's see in the context of this whole quality of life, whether it will work or how it will work. There is no, I always say there is no right and wrong strategy. It's all about trying and what will work.
Yeah.
There will be failures. I am the person who learned from failures, and I have actually not masked my failures in my life. I've actually taken that as a examples to say that I failed in this way, I failed in this way, and what did you learn about it?
Mm.
So it's important. My CV is full of not successes but failures. When I go for an interviews, they say in IT, all these programs that you have mentioned were the biggest failures on the planet. And I said that's why I've listed, because it gave me an opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
And I get the job. Success, everybody, like everything is green. Yeah, okay, sun shining, moon's bright. The whatever. But when the sun is not shining and moon is not bright, we have the Dracula in our backyard. Blood is coming out. Teeth are long, feet are other way. That's where we want to know what's happened.
I think even first week of the month or the last week of the month, whichever.
Whichever suits you.
Whatever, half an hour,
Half an hour, we should all talk about what are the issues, what are the new strategies.
We can have every 15 days.
Even fortnightly, even if fortnightly is too early, even once in a month is quite good. And then how we can, for example, now he's gaining weight, so all of us need to think, how we can reduce the weight.
Yes.
So if it's not one person, 5 people thinking, they all implement.
So one of these suggestions, this is a good thing you asked, because it is my prime concern at the moment, because weight is linked to the medicine.
Yeah.
But if I reduce the medicine, we are gone back. But this time I'm actually not reducing the medication, but trying other strategies.
Yeah.
So first thing is that number one golden rule, bringing back to the schedule. Don't let him slip off the schedule, because I was seeing that he was going out by 11, sometimes 11:30. That is going to kill him. because this will become ritual. He will never be out of the home by 12. What will you do? Okay, so the couple of things in the life I'm very particular about. You need to have your teeth brushed every day in the morning. And some people do twice. Okay, you need to have shower every day. Every day, whether you do in the morning or Shivam is used to doing all that in the morning. There was a time he used to have 2 showers in a day. So he has to have a breakfast at a certain time. If you slip that time, you will see that breakfast will become a trigger for the behavior. Okay, so that needs to be done. My whole goal was that when he used to go to Irapina, they used to be out by 7:30, and 6:30 he would have shower, breakfast, everything, behaviors, and gone into the Irapina. So he was getting up early.
It's possible.
Everything is possible with him because 6:30 he used to go to school in the UK, so 6 o'clock he used to wake up, and within like breakfast and everything. But even here, the time shifted because he was now not going anywhere. He was home. When you start living at home, your time slips. When you're going to work, 7:30, 10. So basically, schedule is the key. Not to change the schedule. And also, I don't say that. Now, don't come to me as secondary autistic answer on that, which is at this time the schedule says that he has to have lunch, but he hasn't had lunch. Okay, now I will see, okay, is this happening every day or is one off? If it is happening every day, let's get together, discuss what to do, what's going on. If it is just one off, maybe he's not feeling eating, and come on, he gets cereal to eat in the morning. Then Nishta kids, who wants to eat cereal in the morning? And at that age, even though like I eat cereal because there's nothing else to eat, because or I'm cutting down the weight. But he wants to eat that crap breakfast he's been having since he was born. They all like wonderful things. Like when I was a kid, my mom gave wonderful things in the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And now we have all this shelf-made
Health conscious.
Maggie. Give this. You can have this. You can have this every day. Same food. Nobody wants it. Everybody wants to have difference, and then no fixation of that. Today's Tuesday, so you're gonna have chicken. No, I will have chicken whenever I want. Because for me, I cook noodles. I never get to eat one. Everybody eats because the person who cooks, I don't enjoy the noodles on that same night. I enjoy it 3 days after. But 3 days after, no, you can't have it. Why? Because it's Tuesday. It's Monday. You have to have it on Tuesday. Okay, so now I'm resolving autism, but I'm getting autistic responses. What can I do? So a very interesting example, say, if it is Rajma Chawal, it's Sunday, but now it's no Sunday, Saturday.
This is setting events, huh?
Because I just said that the food reminds me what day of the week it is. So, okay, I'll give you more sense.
This is setting events.
Done.
So then I was flipping the channel on TV. Wife come and said, "Oh, what's on the TV?" I said, "Dust. This is where the fight start."
So we're not. It's good to talk because these are human behaviors. Everybody lives and feels and thinks differently. Okay. For example, I'm used to pulling legs right from my childhood. Okay, that's what series my parents target these days. Any pull leg. But what we do over here is we have fun.
Yeah.
Okay, because our life is so
full of responsibilities,
full of difficulties, and like I have been one person when I was in the teaching in my classroom. I would make most of the fun about myself than anybody because that's what attracts people. The biggest joke is within yourself, not outside of it. And that's what jokers do. What is a joker? Joker comes up and he's a clown. Okay, but he makes everybody laugh because, but you know, immaterial of how sad his life would be or not would be. But this is the key. We learn from each other's experience, and we are like a kind of a family over here. Okay, so it's just like somebody in the home gets picked up, like, and somebody is nice to be picked up. Somebody likes to be picked up. Okay, isn't it? So that's what happens. So for us, like, interesting part of the whole thing is last 6 years we haven't been anywhere with Shivam anyway. Think about COVID. If you guys were not here during the COVID, our life would have been finished. Because this is the only communication interchange that our family gets
Outside.
in this environment. So it is so important. So we all talk about each other, we all bitch about each other, that's fine. That's our human tendency. Okay? But ultimately we have to work for the common goal.
Yep.
So